Language.
Linguaggio. Hasha.
语言
Ono.
Arabia.
Gengo.
Lingua.
Lingvo.
Lang.
Disprata.
When I was young, I was first touched with the Vietnamese and found it pretty interesting, so I studied by myself.
5 languages altogether. English, obviously, French, Italian, German, and I'm trying Chinese.
English, Hindi and Punjabi. But apart from those languages, I also speak a little bit in Chinese. And there are other languages in India which I speak, and they are like Urdu, Marathi, Gujarati, and Kannada. I also learned Sanskrit, which is nobody speaks now as a language of communication, but I learned that in school. Punjabi is my mother tongue, so I learned by listening to my parents. And India is like cultural and a lot of languages are spoken. So I picked up those languages in whichever places my dad was transferred to. So that's how I know all of the other languages.
I speak English, Chinese, and Keja dialect and French.
I speak Italian and English, and I can speak some Spanish.
I spent a summer learning French, but not much, and all I can do is to count numbers under trois quatre. And once I got to SCIE, I had the chance to learn Japanese language and culture in depth.
There are only 2 languages that I can speak fairly fluently, Chinese and English, of course, but I did attempt to learn some other languages, such as Esperanto and Latin. Esperanto is a very easy language. It was invented. But Latin is notorious for its complicated grammar, so I found a textbook to learn it.
I speak Mandarin, English, Cantonese, and I'm currently learning Dutch.
I learnt Spanish when I was in high school. I did learn a few phrases in Thai when I lived in Thailand. I learnt a few phrases in Arabic when I lived in Oman, and I did take Chinese lessons when I lived in Taiwan. I could have a very, very basic conversation, a slow, basic conversation in Chinese, if necessary. So I can read Pinyin, and if I practice at it, I can sometimes get the correct tone. Sometimes, not very often.
So I speak Spanish, Catalan, English and French, and now I'm studying a bit of Chinese. I learned Spanish because I'm from Spain, and Catalan is the local language of where I'm from. My mom is a translator, so I always learned languages since I was a kid, since I was in kindergarten.
I learned French in school when I went to Germany. I learned German when I lived in Germany. I also learned Arabic in the UAE, and I learned Latin and Sanskrit in my primary school. I learned Chinese from my parents, obviously.
I think the word love is important in all languages. Amore, amor, liebe.
For me, it would be the German word Heimweh, which means homesickness. It means like home pain, and I feel that a lot, so it's a very deep and meaningful word to me.
Oh, so the first one that popped up to my mind is Fanwei, German word. You've never been to a place where you just feel like it's your hometown. I just found this word really beautiful. Yeah.
Well, for Korean, I will choose the word alamdaun. It means beautiful, and I think the pronunciation of it is beautiful as well.
The word stofzuiger is quite interesting in Dutch. It actually means vacuum cleaner, but since stof means dust and zuiger means sucker, it means dust sucker if translated directly, so it's pretty accurate.
Omoi is a word in Japanese that means a lot to me because it represents the thoughts and feelings of human beings, and I don't think any human being can live without it.
I think my favorite word in Spanish is mariposa, which means butterfly.
Okay. I think familia, which is family, and it's very important to me.
Maybe friend. In French is le copain. Keja dialect is But you?
I like to learn cucaracha.
Oh no!
It's a Spanish insect in Spanish. It brings me a melody like cucaracha.
I will consider learning Finnish, Spanish, or Italian.
German.
Chinese. I want to speak to my students in Chinese, but I'm not able.
Spanish.
I don't really have any preference. It depends on where I'm gonna go live then.